It was like a gut punch.
Which to me is ridiculous.
I was shocked.
Because it was more than just, the shock of someone passing away.
I did not think that something like this could happen.
Woman with Down syndrome who died from starvation
At the hands of her care provider.
Major systemic changes are in order to help prevent a similar tragedy from ever happening again.
Because she makes me feel stronger. Sick. If she's not with me, then I just feel like I lost her altogether. And I don't want to forget her, so I just keep it with me. She wanted it, but she refused to sleep in the bedroom. The couch was hers. And if she decided she was tired, everybody had to get out of the living room. Because if she loved you, she loved you. If she didn't like you, you would know it. She would always, if she met you, she would ask if she could hug you. When she was here, she would hit on my husband and go, "Hi, Randy." Oh, sweet. She was boy crazy. Like when she would swim at the Special Olympics, she would follow the camera guy around and end up having his camera around her neck. Yeah, she was just sweet. But she could be very grumpy. First, I just, I was just crying really sad. I couldn't believe it. But I mean, I kind of thought maybe she had a heart problem or something like that. Then the police told me malnourishment, and I was like, it confused me at first because I'm like, how? Like, it was sad. A mattress on the floor. It looked dirty. There was urine stains and whatnot on the carpet next to the bed. It was a really small, little, round table with one chair at it where her meals would get brought to her, I guess. I think back a lot, and I feel guilty for not making a scene about it. I don't know. Everybody failed Florence, and I feel like I did too.
I can feel you hesitating. All the thunderstorms inside your head.
When you start to forget what they sound like.
If I knew what you were facing,
or her cackle, she had the best laugh.
I'd say just come rest your head.
And when you can't hear it anymore. Yeah, I don't like that.
To feel this way.
Court of Appeal made some important findings. They found that the neglect of Florence Girard was actually classified as abuse, and they recommended that a jail sentence, or they ordered a jail sentence be part of the sentence for Astrid Dahl. However, because Astrid had already gone through a criminal process, they said that given what she had already gone through, they considered that to be time served. So Astrid Dahl never spent any time actually in jail. I then pushed to say, let's have a coroner's inquest to make recommendations to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And that would be the big advantage of the coroner's inquest. There's some significant systemic failures that have been going on with CLBC. And the issues that happened to Florence were not in isolation, that there were systemic issues that were coming out. The jury provided 13 recommendations, and a lot of those were immediately do this, immediately do that. The urgency there was so significant, and it became clear to the jurors, there were basically 5 citizens who were hearing the evidence from the inquest over 2 weeks, that CLBC was an abject failure.
Do you like Star Wars? Yeah. Do you like Scooby-Doo? Yeah. Do you like...
We have learned how to advocate on a level that I didn't even know existed.
The penguins?
The photos of Florence in fetal position, laying on a mattress, will haunt me for the rest of my life. And she didn't die of starvation in a week. That was a long, horrible, slow, painful death. There's a hierarchy of disability, and people with intellectual and developmental disabilities are at the bottom of that. It's not just about Down syndrome, but my son has Down syndrome, Florence had Down syndrome, and a lot of people in my community also love somebody with Down syndrome.
Becca, are you kidding me right now? Oh, really?
Every level of government does not value my son. They didn't value Florence. And the people who are supposed to care for them don't see them as human beings. Because if they did, Florence wouldn't have died of starvation. And Florence is not the only person to die in government care. And she won't be the last one until we change everything.
Can you give me a hug?
We need to stop what we're doing and we need to rebuild it.
Okay. Are we playing? Do you want to hand me the Hot Wheels?
And I will keep sharing stories, and I will tell anybody's story, because it's the only way we can create change. I believe that when we tell other people our experience, it gives other people permission to be more open about their own story, because there's also a lot of shame and guilt, and no one should ever feel that.
She's the most slenderest girl I ever met.
What a compliment. So Sarah is a very joyful, curious, friendly individual. She's always really liked being around people.
She loves to play. Physical play, she loves wrestling around, running around, being chased, you know, like any young person, right?
Before I finally found.
Which one is your favorite High School Musical movie? 1, 2, or 3?
All of them.
Do you have a favorite song?
But we're all in this together, of course.
Of course.
I love myself.
Tell me why.
Because I love myself.
Good. What about yourself do you love?
Well, I love being with my friends and classmates and my parents. I've been thinking about being a psychologist because I really want to help some adults and families who have kids with a disability or any other disability they may have.
How's school for you right now?
Well, I know it is pretty fun, and of course, we're definitely getting ready for college or university, and mostly thinking about how our future's going to be like.
And is that scary for you, or are you excited?
I'm very excited, but I've been nervous.
Been nervous? How come you're nervous?
Because because I don't know if I'm ready for the world yet.
Yeah, what I want to use is a bunch of curse words when it comes to Florence Girard, but I know that's not helpful either.
You look at the complex needs of some people, and the resources aren't there, and you look at those families, and you talk about burnout, where these people are going 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, just to support the basic needs of their children. When Sarah was younger, she was well supported by the community services. But what we found with each one of those phases of service is one would go from birth to 3 years old and then just end. The next one would go from 3 to 5 years old and just end. And then from 5 to 12, and then into the high school years. But each one would start and finish, and then you're left hanging, looking for that next resource. Knowing now that you can't rely on another agency or other people, right? We need to bolster our network of people around Sarah to make sure that there are people checking.
Mm-hmm. And frankly, when we first had Sarah, we were so pleased with the number of amazing resources that were available for us to draw from to ensure that she had a really meaningful life and that we were supported in our journey with her. And we had some really wonderful experiences. And her being an only child, it's always been in the back of our minds as we go through life, what will the support be for her as an adult? This gives me no confidence at all that our child will be supported and protected and nurtured by the community around her. My hope for Sarah is a joyful and meaningful life, which does involve support from our community and people to take a step back and give her a little bit more time than we might give a typical individual to be herself, to discover who she is, and to experience the joy that we have experienced by getting to know her and other individuals with a disability.
You got the first part. We'll say she got it. Oh yeah. So is that here?
I think the first thing that has to be done is we need to stop segregating everybody. Everybody has value. We're all different, and that's a good thing. We also need to get out of this scarcity model. There is enough for everyone. There really is. And then the other thing is we need to allow families to support their loved ones. I know that our advocacy is not done.
Girls just want to have funding for Down syndrome.
Well, if you don't try, there will be more Florences.
The hope is on a go forward that momentum will continue on.
Funding shouldn't be a problem. Funding should be the top priority before paychecks.
And the inquest changed everything.
So opening our minds that normal isn't one way.
Give them the quality of life that they deserve.
I think makes us all a little bit kinder and better.
No one should ever feel like they're in this alone.
No one would accept them, but then how can we support them better?